Before the boardroom doors even finished closing, a security officer was already carrying a cardboard box containing everything a struggling single father owned. His proposal had been dismissed in less than 12 minutes. The CEO never looked back as she signed the rejection papers, believing she had just protected her company from a reckless idea. 3 weeks later, every screen inside the headquarters flashed the same terrifying message. Their biggest client had terminated a billion-dollar contract. Their flagship product had failed in the marketplace. Investors were fleeing by the minute. The very project she had rejected, the one carried into the building by a tired single father wearing a worn jacket, had become the breakthrough that shattered everything she believed was untouchable. If you believe kindness, forgiveness, hope, and second chances can change lives, please take a moment to like this video, leave a comment, share it with someone who needs encouragement today, and subscribe to our channel so you never miss another emotional journey. Graham Mercer had never expected life to become so heavy. 5 years earlier he had been a respected systems engineer whose ideas had quietly helped several manufacturing companies modernize outdated technology. Then tragedy struck when his wife, Elise, passed away unexpectedly after a brief illness, leaving him alone to raise their 8-year-old daughter, Nora. Overnight, business meetings became school pickups. Late-night research became homework at the kitchen table. Every dream Graham carried now had a tiny pair of hopeful eyes depending on it. Money disappeared faster than hope. Clients stopped calling because Graham could no longer travel constantly. He accepted temporary consulting jobs while spending every spare hour building a revolutionary industrial management platform capable of predicting equipment failures weeks before they happened. It wasn't flashy. It wasn't designed to impress investors. It simply solved expensive problems before they became disasters. After nearly 3 years of work, Graham finally secured a meeting with Northbridge Dynamics, one of America's largest industrial technology firms. Leading the company was CEO Vivian Caldwell, a brilliant executive celebrated for transforming struggling businesses into market leaders. Newspapers praised her confidence. Employees admired her discipline. Competitors feared her decisions. Yet success had quietly built walls around her heart. She trusted polished presentations more than quiet determination. When Graham entered the glass conference room carrying nothing more than an aging laptop and a folder full of handwritten research notes, several executives exchanged doubtful glances. His jacket showed signs of careful repairs. His shoes had been polished so many times the leather had faded. While other entrepreneurs arrived with expensive marketing teams, Graham arrived alone because every dollar had gone toward raising Nora and perfecting his software. Vivian listened politely during the presentation, but as the minutes passed, she focused less on Graham's solution and more on what she believed it lacked. There were no celebrity endorsements, no billion-dollar venture capital partners, and no dramatic marketing campaign. She concluded the project represented unnecessary risk. The rejection came quickly. Vivian believed she was making the responsible decision. She thanked Graham for his effort and encouraged him to continue developing his concept elsewhere. Graham nodded respectfully, gathered his papers, and quietly walked out of the building carrying the same hope he had carried in. No anger filled his heart. Only disappointment and the familiar responsibility of returning home to Nora with another difficult answer. That afternoon, Nora greeted her father with the same smile she wore every day. She asked whether the important meeting had gone well. Graham forced a gentle smile before telling her that sometimes people simply weren't ready to see tomorrow while standing in today. Nora hugged him tightly and reminded him that her mother always said the right people eventually recognize honest work. Those words stayed with him. A week later Graham attended a regional manufacturing conference where smaller companies searched for affordable innovations. There he met Roland Pierce, founder of a rapidly growing industrial equipment company that had nearly collapsed after repeated machinery failures. Unlike Northbridge, Roland cared less about appearances and more about practical solutions. He listened carefully as Graham explained how predictive intelligence could prevent costly shutdowns. Roland took a chance. Within days, Graham's platform was installed across several production facilities. Almost immediately it identified hidden mechanical failures that technicians had overlooked for months. Unexpected breakdowns nearly vanished. productivity soared. Operating costs dropped dramatically. News spread quickly throughout the manufacturing industry. 3 weeks after Northbridge rejected Graham's proposal, Rowland's company announced record-breaking quarterly growth directly attributed to its revolutionary predictive operating system. Clients noticed. Several of Northbridge's largest customers realized the company they trusted had ignored the technology already transforming their competitors. Investors questioned leadership. Market analysts criticized the company's inability to recognize innovation. Contracts worth hundreds of millions disappeared almost overnight. Inside Northbridge headquarters, panic replaced confidence. Emergency meetings filled every conference room. Department leaders searched desperately for answers. Employees feared layoffs. Stock prices continued falling throughout the day. Vivian stared silently at the headlines covering every financial news network. One article repeated the same painful sentence over and over. The technology Northbridge rejected has become the industry's new standard. For the first time in years, Vivian questioned her own judgment. She requested every recording from Graham's original presentation. Sitting alone in the conference room where she had rejected him, she watched every minute without interruption. This time she noticed details she had completely missed. Graham had answered every technical question with quiet confidence. His research anticipated problems competitors hadn't even considered. His solution wasn't incomplete, her perspective had been. That realization hurt more than losing contracts. Instead of blaming employees or searching for excuses, Vivian made an unexpected decision. She drove personally to the modest neighborhood where Graham lived. She found him repairing Nora's old bicycle in the driveway while she decorated the basket with colorful ribbons recycled from birthday gifts. There were no luxury cars. No mansion, only a father trying to create happiness from ordinary moments. Vivian suddenly understood what determination actually looked like. She apologized without defending herself. She admitted she had judged the presentation through the lens of prestige instead of purpose. She confessed that fear of risk had blinded her to genuine brilliance. Graham listened quietly. He remembered every sleepless night after the rejection. Every unpaid bill. Every moment he wondered whether Nora deserved a better father. Yet he also remembered the values Elise had lived by. Bitterness builds nothing, character builds everything. Instead of celebrating Northbridge's collapse, Graham simply thanked Rowland Pierce for believing in him when others didn't. His loyalty belonged there now. Success had arrived because someone else chose courage over appearances. Vivian accepted his decision without argument. She understood trust could not be purchased after it had been carelessly discarded. Months passed. Northbridge began rebuilding under an entirely different philosophy. Vivian established anonymous innovation reviews so every proposal would be judged solely on its merit rather than the status or appearance of the person presenting it. Entry-level employees suddenly found their ideas receiving serious consideration. Small inventors gained opportunities previously reserved for established corporations. The culture slowly changed. Meanwhile, Graham's partnership continued transforming industries across the country. He hired talented engineers who had once been overlooked for similar reasons. Every interview focused on curiosity, integrity, and compassion instead of polished resumes alone. Nora watched her father become successful without ever becoming arrogant. One afternoon, her school assigned students to write about the person they admired most. Many children chose athletes or celebrities. Nora wrote about her father. She described a man who kept believing after disappointment, who smiled even during difficult seasons, who taught her that kindness was stronger than revenge and that true success meant helping others rise instead of celebrating their failures. When Graham quietly read the essay during the school's family appreciation event, tears blurred the words. Awards from businesses suddenly seemed insignificant compared to the love written on those simple notebook pages. Several weeks later, Northbridge organized a public innovation summit inviting entrepreneurs from across the country. Vivian surprised everyone by inviting Graham as the keynote speaker. He accepted. Standing before thousands of executives, engineers, and young inventors, Graham never mentioned the rejection. He never embarrassed Vivian. Instead, he spoke about resilience, humility, and the extraordinary power of second chances. He explained that every company eventually chooses between protecting its pride and pursuing the truth. Only one choice creates lasting greatness. The audience rose to its feet. Vivian applauded longer than anyone. She knew the applause belonged not only to Graham's achievement but also to the lesson that had saved her from becoming someone success had almost permanently hardened. As the conference ended, Graham noticed dozens of young entrepreneurs waiting to thank him. Many admitted they had nearly abandoned their own ideas after hearing countless rejections. His story reminded them that one person's dismissal could never define another person's future. Before you reach the end of this story, we'd love to hear from you. What do you think is more important, judging someone by their appearance or believing in their character and ideas? Leave a meaningful comment below and share the lesson this story left in your heart. Years later, people rarely remembered the financial losses Northbridge had suffered. They remembered something far more important. They remembered that one CEO found the courage to admit she was wrong, and one single father found the strength to forgive instead of seeking revenge. Together, they proved that failure can become the foundation of wisdom, rejection can become the doorway to purpose, and compassion will always leave a legacy far greater than pride. If this story touched your heart, please like this video, leave a meaningful comment, share it with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe to our channel so you never miss another emotional journey. Remember, sometimes the greatest victories don't come from proving others wrong, they come from refusing to let disappointment change the goodness inside your heart.